Oops, baby, I didn't mean to find someone, but I guess that is that. Oops, baby, 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 I didn't mean to fall in love, but I don't wanna take it back. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to find someone, but I guess that is that. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to fall in love, but I don't wanna take it back. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to find someone, but I guess that is that. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to fall in love, but I don't wanna take it back. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to find someone, but I guess that is that. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to fall in love, but I don't wanna take it back. Oops, baby, I didn't mean to find someone, but I guess that is that. Oops, baby, that is that. Oops, baby,
Good morning. Yo, yo, yo. How's everybody doing? We got WWDC yesterday, coming off the back of that. Really not much has come out, post WWDC, besides people just kind of, at least on my feed, shitting on Apple's new UI. Oh, sorry, my mic's. Yeah, just everyone's takes coming out about liquid glass and some of the foundational model stuff for Apple too, but that one is also none of it was really that big of news for everyone. So I have some funny just a few random posts about it real quick. But I think this is a big one. So I actually installed it. I have the beta, the iOS 26. I installed it. Phone didn't brick. Unlike this person here on their iPad. RIP. And they had all their drawings or something on their Procreate products. Yeah, risky stuff. But the beta is so buggy. It is so buggy. It's also laggy. New iOS, and also dark mode looks so bad. So, yeah. I think once like the masses get a hold of it, I'm curious to see like what how everyone else feels about it too. This is the Supabase team. Like, we redesigned our Supabase dashboard. This is like the problem though. I feel like it's with that is a lot of it is hard to see. Here's another example of someone because it's transparent, white on transparent stuff just doesn't bode well. But yeah, I think this is kind of this is just rough. Good example here. So but I think it's just buggy using it on my own. Like I for some reason when I can't send messages like in iMessage, I hit the send button and nothing happens. It like jiggles, like something happened, but then I have to go out, come back in, then try and click send. I don't know, just like random shit like that. So whatever. Ben Thompson of Stratechery, who's another analyst, been covering tech for a while. He wrote a piece about kind of Apple, similar to kind of the consensus about it was just really a down year and that they really just didn't show what they should have. So yeah, we're not gonna read it on stream now. But all right, today we got new Mistral reasoning model. Mistral, the European European open quote unquote AI company. Bit small. They're kind of like the little brother or little sister to Anthropic and OpenAI, like a pure play AI company. But the European, they got a reasoning model. We got some OpenAI news here, hitting 10 billion in annual revenue, and Meta. Zuck's been having some trouble with his AI strategy, especially with Llama. The team pretty much left. We covered it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and he's just been having team problems. But now it seems like they're acquiring, taking a stake in Scale AI, which is more of an enterprise closed source AI company. They're like pretty much only enterprise focused. Rumored to take a 49% stake for like however many $1 billion. So it's kind of crazy. And then we'll talk about Huawei. This is a kind of an interesting one. It's like China's being like, our chips actually aren't as good as you guys are playing it up to be. It's like, okay. Like, so yeah. And also I guess there's been a huge outage. Like Mistral, ChatGPT, essentially there's a Heroku outage, which is a cloud hosting, kind of an OG cloud hoster, unfamiliar, but they were out, and it seems like there might have been some cascading effects from that. So okay, let's take a look at OpenAI and Zuck, and then we'll take a look at Mistral, and then we might find some emerging tech videos. I'm just browsing on YouTube, see if we find a new technology too. Okay, let's start with the video, and we'll read the article.
We've got a news alert.
But okay, so I guess more context on this. OpenAI, I think the last time they shared, or at least it was leaked revenue, was $5.5 billion, which was last year's. So if they're already hitting $10 billion in recurring revenue, that's a doubling in a very short amount of time, which is good. They need that. They are raising a lot of money. They're raising a lot of money and are not making money, so they need that. But it's trending in the right direction, but they definitely need a little more. And it seems like with OpenAI going to Google for compute, considering that Microsoft is their like exclusive partner, and they now have to go to Microsoft to get permission to get compute elsewhere. Like that must have been like a big hit to, Satya at Microsoft. Like, hey, so we need to go to Google for cloud compute now. And Microsoft's like, what? So, yeah, let's
OpenAI, what an interesting dichotomy here. Kate Rooney with the details. Kate, what's happening?
Kelly, that's right. So we are getting some new revenue metrics from OpenAI. These have not been reported yet. The AI company just hit $10 billion in annual recurring revenue, also known as ARR. This is according to an OpenAI spokesperson. It does come just 2.5 years since its AI chatbot, ChatGPT, hit the market. And a source separately telling me that revenue, if you think about last year, it was $5.5 billion at the end of 2024. So roughly doubling. But right now we are, of course, only halfway through the year with that 10 billion number. The key sales driver, according to the spokesperson, is ChatGPT. The spokesperson also saying and confirming that the chatbot topped 500 million weekly active users.
I do wonder, it says how much they actually make from the API. Like I feel like the margins are just very small for if there's any profit at all coming from like just serving the models via API. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually take a loss, now I think about it. And it is crazy, because Perplexity CEO said that the subscription revenue is very good, and that, like, he's okay with that for now, to, like, sustain things. It's just, I guess, $20 a month, and I know they have the $200 a month one, but $20 a month for everyone, like, that, I wonder if they're gonna have to raise that price. I feel like they're going to. Especially if they, like, keep bringing in a bunch of new models. And also the $20 pricing point is a lot of other AI products have that exact same pricing point. I feel like every product does. Like every like chat product has that. So, and I wouldn't put it past OpenAI to be the first one to kind of break above that like $20 pricing point. Like Cursor's 20, I think Mistral's 20, or it might even be a little cheaper. Perplexity's 20, Claude's $20 a month. So, it says it doesn't. Okay. Oh, it doesn't include. Oh yeah, and they also have revenue share with Microsoft, which is also insane. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
At the end of March, so these new revenue figures.
It seems like it's hard for them to make money
from that
right
consumer business and API, but they do exclude Microsoft and the licensing revenue, and then one-off mega deals like SoftBank pretty recently. It does also give some context to this company's monster $300 billion valuation in private markets. It's about 30 times revenue, which does underline.
And 30 times revenue is about what Apple is right now, by the way. So, you know, that's interesting.
A lot of the growth expectations.
And we did see that analyst yesterday who said that that is too expensive for Apple because, in a way, you're kind of buying future. You know, it's you're buying the future revenue, or you're betting on the future, especially with OpenAI. Like Sam Altman is essentially selling a future that doesn't exist yet with like AGI and all that stuff. So I do think that that's an interesting like fact of OpenAI and Apple sharing similar like PE ratios like that.
From investors like SoftBank and Microsoft out there. I'm told from a separate source that in the next 4 years, OpenAI is going to be aiming to hit $125 billion in revenue. It also aims to be cash flow positive at that point. In the meantime, this company is also spending a bulk.
Still got a while to go to 100. That's, you know, like we're talking 12x now. But I guess if you're 2x, like we'll have it by
what's coming in.
soon.
It's not profitable yet. I have heard from sources that the company saw $5 billion in losses last year. No comment from OpenAI.
Right, so it makes $10 billion, it loses 15, but still getting to $10 billion. I mean, how long has it been around? You know what I mean? Since the product launch, just a couple of years. Right. That's an incredibly fast time period in which to hit $10 billion in annual revenues.
Yeah.
It's a great point, Kelly. I mean, it was started sort of as a research lab, so it was around for about
dare I say, bubble growth, like we're in a bubble.
Decade working on this before the consumer product launched. But
I think the fact that they are increasing that quick, though, is a sign that it's useful, if nothing else.
GPT has been around for 2.5 years. We were looking at some of the other kind of high watermarks of what it took to get to $10 billion in revenue. It took Microsoft something like 2 decades. Meta was around, it was like 8 years or a decade. So, I mean, this type of growth is unprecedented. I will say they're sort of standing on the shoulders of giants here. If the iPhone didn't exist, ChatGPT wouldn't be so easy to access. They've got the cloud that's also one of these tailwinds, but it's eye-popping. And then we've also reported that Anthropic is closer to $3 billion in revenue. So the fact that these are essentially startups, they've only been on the market for a couple of years, and they're notching $10 billion in revenue really marks sort of this new AI paradigm we're in and the growth expectations.
It's incredible, and it goes back to NVIDIA and how quickly it ramped up. NVIDIA now rivals Apple in size, right? And that, like Santoli was saying, Apple was 5 times its size a few years ago. So we have this announcement, this big worldwide developers conference, Kate, where everyone's trying to say to Apple, all right, what do you have to show us? And I know sometimes they say, they should just buy OpenAI or ChatGPT. I mean, $300 billion, even for a company of Apple's size, whether regulators would ever let that happen or they would have any interest. But the growth that we're seeing here for this product, $20 a month, I and many, many others pay for it, and I love it. I'm totally hooked.
Wait, okay. I mean, they can't just buy ChatGPT though. I mean, they can't just buy
totally
OpenAI. Like that would be the most complicated deal in general. Oh, there's a committee hearing around 23andMe's bankruptcy sale. That's funny. Yeah, that'd be crazy for them to just cancel or to this get acquired. I don't think Trump administration would let that happen because they are very, they don't like big tech. They don't like big tech either, I guess. Both parties hate big tech right now. It says OpenAI has hit $10 billion in annual recurring revenue, less than 3 years after launching its ChatGPT chatbot. The figures include the sales from the company's consumer products, ChatGPT business products and application. Okay, yeah, and it's API. It excludes licensing revenue from Microsoft and large one-time deals, according to OpenAI's spokesperson. I wonder if OpenAI paid Apple or if Apple paid OpenAI to get ChatGPT integration in some of the newer Apple products that were launched. Because it's like, I wonder who needs who more right now. Arguably, yeah, I don't know, because like OpenAI needs a platform to distribute beyond ChatGPT to distribute its models and services, its applications. So they need Apple in that sense, but Apple also doesn't have many AI products. You know, the Apple Intelligence has been bought, so they don't really have any sort of like competitive advantage in terms of the AI space over Google or Microsoft right now, and so they need them in that aspect. So, and then like a lot of times it's like you could just use your ChatGPT account, and then it's like, okay, who's even benefiting at that point? Like, who's benefiting who? It seems like, you know, just like a very transactional, like, okay, fine, you can just put your thing on your platform, but like that on our platform, but that's it. Like, I don't know. For all the last year, OpenAI is around $5.5 billion in ARR. Yeah, meteoric growth rate requires a substantial amount of cash. Yes, they have a lot of cash. And it lost about $5 billion last year. Okay, I mean, yeah, lost about $5 billion, but like they spent a lot of money. Way more than that. OpenAI is also targeting $125 billion in revenue by 2029. That's if they keep 2xing, I don't even know if they get there. They have 10, 2x 20, 2x 40, 2x 80. Yeah, I guess they could get there in about like, yeah, if you 2x every year, but I think that, yeah, there's gonna be, just in terms of general market, you know, general like adoption of of AI, like they're gonna have to do some work, or like, yeah, I'm sure, I think that they're assuming some sort of like spikes again in the future. Like you can't, like the market's like gonna get saturated, I guess, unless people start making new products to reach a different type of consumer. Technological adoption curve, anyone? Yeah, I don't know. And I guess too, if the general economy also has to grow like with it, or at least the entire AI market has to grow with OpenAI, likely. Because if they are growing to this point, there's many other layers to kind of the AI market that depend on OpenAI that you know, they'll need to grow too alongside OpenAI, I guess. And so that's just going to require like the general economy. It's kind of like the whole $1 trillion market for AI argument. It's like, okay, sure, we could get there someday, but just literally basic economic growth, you know, like economic growth models. It's like we're not going to get there tomorrow. You know, like it's going to take quite a while still, unless the government just starts pumping money into it. But doubt, at least right now. Yeah, and then OpenAI closed a big funding round led by SoftBank, which it says $40 billion, but I'm not sure if that is the case still, because they got $10 billion and the other 30 was dependent on OpenAI becoming a for-profit company, which got thwarted a bit. So that's up in the air as well. OpenAI is valued about 30 times revenue, which highlights the hyper-growth expectations by some of its largest investors. OpenAI is backed by Japan SoftBank, Microsoft, Co2, Altimeter, Thrive, others. Yeah, I don't know. But one thing's for sure is that we still need compute. And we're seeing this with OpenAI essentially going to their rivals, you know, in excluding Microsoft, because even though Microsoft and OpenAI do compete, they still need each other. But what's actually wait real quick? What's Google stock? Google's up 2.2% today. Microsoft's down. Apple's about even. Okay. All right. I was just wondering if there's any like fallout or anything that come from WWDC, any huge swings. But yeah, OpenAI taps Google for cloud deal despite AI rivalry. Because of Microsoft and OpenAI's relationship, and because Microsoft technically owns 49%, at least right now, and before they were their exclusive cloud provider, and a lot of what Microsoft just gave OpenAI was Azure Compute credits, their cloud computing service. So in Microsoft, because they were the exclusive compute provider, only recently allowed OpenAI to go elsewhere to get other compute, to use other data centers, which led them to Stargate, with Oracle, building a huge data center in Texas and expanding elsewhere, a huge $500 billion investment. So now that they are going to Google is like very telling, considering that they are like a direct competitor with Gemini. Maybe even more so, I think, because Google is much more of a consumer company than Microsoft is. I think that Google and OpenAI compete much more directly compared to Microsoft. Microsoft's a little more consumer or enterprise-y. So this is crazy. It's like, okay, we're giving them money. OpenAI plans to add Alphabet Google Cloud Service. Oh, and also OpenAI uses CoreWeave too, notably, which Microsoft also uses, which IPO'd recently. OpenAI plans to add Alphabet's Google Cloud Service to meet its growing needs for computing capacity. 3 sources told Reuters, marking a surprising collaboration between 2 prominent competitors in the artificial intelligence sector. The deal, which has been under discussion for a few months, was finalized in May. One of the sources added, it underscores how massive computing demands to train and deploy AI models are reshaping the competitive dynamics, and AI marks OpenAI's latest move to diversify its compute sources beyond major supporter Microsoft, including its high-profile Stargate data center project. Yeah, and I think the Stargates, though, is not fully... I'm not sure if it's operational. I think it might be built, the Abilene, Texas one, but I'm not sure if it's operational. But I think, though, it's also, as demand grows, it's the inference, not necessarily training, that, where compute demand is growing, because that's really just when people use the AI. That's, use generative AI. The inference is actually what needs to be spun up immediately, whereas training is usually longer, more planned, I guess. So again, I'm curious where specifically they needed it, and if they were this desperate to go to a competitor, or if they were going to a competitor, they must have just been very desperate, much more than I would have expected, I guess. It's a win for Google's cloud unit, which will supply additional computing capacity to OpenAI's existing infrastructure for training and running its models. Okay, so for both. And running the models is inference. Sources said, who request anonymity to discuss private matters. Move also comes as OpenAI's ChatGPT poses the biggest threat to Google's dominant search business in years, with Google executives recently saying that the AI race may not be a winner-take-all. It's so funny how the views have shifted to all the big tech companies just being like, it's not going to be a winner take all. It's not going to be. I think I do agree that, yeah, it's not going to be winner take all, at least for now. But I do think the shifting opinions is interesting. Zuckerberg, I heard it first said by Zuckerberg, arguably because he is probably the furthest behind out of all the all the big tech companies. Hence, which we'll cover later here. Hence him doing this. OpenAI and Google. OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft declined to comment. Since ChatGPT burst onto the scene in late 2022, OpenAI has dealt with increasing demand for computing capacity, known in industry as compute, for training large language models, as well as for running inference, which involves processing information so people can use the models. OpenAI said Monday that its annualized revenue run rate surged to $10 billion as of June, positioning the company to hit its full-year target amid booming AI adoption. Earlier this year, OpenAI partnered with SoftBank and Oracle on the $500 billion Stargate infrastructure program. Money TBD, money to be found, and signed deals worth billions with CoreWeave. Yep. How's CoreWeave doing actually? Oh shit, down 5%. Why? I wonder if it's on the news. I wonder if it's on this news that Google's going elsewhere for compute. Because if CoreWeave could offer it, then like why? That's actually interesting too. Oh, I wonder if there's anything further there. If OpenAI isn't going to someone who's more independent like CoreWeave, and instead going to someone like Google, I think that's telling. I wonder if the news of this actually sent CoreWeave down. It's on track to this year to finalize the designs of its first in-house chip that could reduce dependency on external hardware providers. Reuters reported in February. Yeah, but it's finalizing the design. Then they have to find manufacturing capacity, likely from TSMC, which every other, essentially every company goes to, unless they do go to like someone like Intel. I feel like Intel probably even goes to TSMC. Intel does, at least used to do its own chip fabrication. I'm not sure now. But also then it's going to take forever to implement it, software. It's like they've got a second for this, to do this. The partnership with Google is the latest of several maneuvers made by OpenAI to reduce its dependency on Microsoft, whose Azure cloud services served as the ChatGPT maker's exclusive data center. Infrastructure provider until January. Google and OpenAI discussed an arrangement for months, but were previously blocked from signing due to a deal with OpenAI's lock-in with Microsoft. Yeah. That's interesting that they were in talks before, though. So maybe it is not that big a deal that they are doing that. I guess maybe it's really not, because it is. OpenAI isn't really competing. They are competing with Google Cloud, though, is the crazy thing. I don't know. I guess maybe it's different. Microsoft and OpenAI are also negotiations to revise the terms of their multi-billion-dollar investment, including the future equity stake Microsoft will hold in OpenAI. Yeah, Microsoft, that's all Microsoft cares about right now. Microsoft just let me use your models for free and just make sure we get equity. Because a lot of Microsoft products are powered by OpenAI's models. Yeah. The Microsoft build was like everything was just backed by 03 or 4.0. For Google, the deal comes as tech giant is expanding of its in-house chip known as Tensor Processing Units, TPU, which is historically reserved for internal use. We also, interesting. We actually didn't see anything about TPUs at Google I/O either. Oh, so are they allowing OpenAI to use these? That help Google win customers, including big tech player Apple, as well as startups like Anthropic and Safe Superintelligence. This is Ilya Sutskever, ex-chief scientist at OpenAI's company. Two OpenAI competitors launched by former OpenAI leaders. Yeah, and Anthropic, I guess, is technically a bunch of ex-OpenAI people. Google's addition of OpenAI to its customers list show how tech giants has capitalized on its in-house AI technology, from hardware to software to accelerate the growth of its cloud businesses. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize that TPUs were that big a deal. Tensor is kind of like a quote unquote like transformer. Like they're kind of like they're different, but I guess similar just in the in analogy sense. Google Cloud, whose $43 billion of sales comprised 12% of Alphabet's 2024 revenue, has positioned itself as a neutral arbiter of computing resources in an effort to outflank Amazon and Microsoft as a cloud provider of choice for a rising legion of AI startups whose heavy infrastructure demands generate costly bills. Yeah, and Anthropic is heavily backed by Amazon, and I think one of the stipulations of Amazon investing in Anthropic was that they need to exclusively use Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services, Amazon's cloud as their compute provider, which is like, it was like, that could be fine, but I think Amazon was having capacity issues just based on the fact of like how Anthropic is had horrible like usage limits. And even now, it's still not unlimited compared to something like ChatGPT, unlimited usage for Claude. Granted, they did finally they allowed you to upgrade to $100 to $200 or to $100 or $200 or something like that for increased usage, but it's still not unlimited. Yeah, Alphabet faces market pressure to demonstrate financial returns on its AI-related capital expenditures, which are expected to hit $75 billion this year, while maintaining its bottom line against the threat of competing AI offerings, as well as antitrust enforcement. Yeah, really a lot of, like, Alphabet, Apple, Meta, they're all getting hit by antitrust at this point. Microsoft somehow skating by. For the most part, they're getting other problems in the EU, but at least in the United States, since the Activision stuff has kind of cooled down, I guess that was their last big antitrust thing. Google's DeepMind AI unit also competes directly with OpenAI and Anthropic in a race to develop the best models and integrate those advances into consumer applications. Yeah. Selling compute power reduces Google's own supply of chips while bolstering capacity-constrained rivals. This is similar. It's similar constraints though that Microsoft is doing. Microsoft really it's every big tech company that has a cloud. It's like it's a matter of selling to your customers, but also like reserving enough for you to also produce and train your own AI models. OpenAI deal will further complicate how Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai allocates the capacity between the competing interests of Google's enterprise and consumer business segments. Yep. And I wonder, this is kind of how Microsoft was, I feel like late 2000s, early 2010s, where they were kind of trying to figure out, like, they're going both heavy in consumer and business and enterprise, and they're kind of figuring out like where they, who they are, I guess. Steve Ballmer, ex-Microsoft CEO, famous from the developers. developers. He did an interview with Acquired. I feel like I keep mentioning it, but it's so insightful because it's so applicable to now. But he was saying how they really, when they were focusing on the enterprise, they really lost the consumer muscle, and they really never got it back. And Google is kind of like almost the opposite, where it's like, I feel like they have more so the consumer muscle, but it's the enterprise maybe that they really need to figure out better. That could be wrong, but seems like something like that. Google already lacks sufficient capacity to meet its cloud customers' demands as of last quarter. Chief Financial Officer Anat Ashkenazi told analysts in April. Wow, I did not know that. Although ChatGPT holds a large lead over Google's competing chatbot in terms of monthly users, and analysts have predicted it could reduce Google's dominant search market share, Pichai has brushed aside concerns that OpenAI will usurp Google's business dominance. Yeah, I think though, yeah, while ChatGPT might have more monthly users, Google just is able to push its AI products in front of users, whether they like it or not. You know, like the, AI summaries, which people have said that those are actually useful, which is like actually good, or for the search summaries, a good use for AI, and people like that. Like they're just able to snap their fingers, and I think they get like 1.5 billion users or something. It's like OpenAI cannot compete with that. Now actual like platform like ChatGPT directly, like Gemini Pro or whatever. I'm curious about the numbers on that to really compare, but Google at least has distribution, has better distribution than OpenAI just because of all the services and platforms that they have. And I keep pushing that platform narrative with OpenAI because I do think that they're renting everyone's platform right now. With Apple, with them being on Apple, they don't own the platform. They're just renting the platform from Apple to be able to put ChatGPT on there. Same with Microsoft. It's actually kind of this one's more equitable relationship because OpenAI does get a cut, but they're essentially renting Microsoft's platform from Microsoft. They don't own Microsoft's platform, but they're being just pushed, distributed by them. So Microsoft could snap their fingers and they'd be gone. So it's rough times for OpenAI if they really want to take over Google or Microsoft. They need more platform distribution. Yeah, Corey. I wonder if Corey is down. Let's actually, while we're doing this, let's look at Perplexity. %. Oh, were they just? Oh, was it up a huge amount yesterday or something? Oh yeah, it actually they like spiked yesterday. So this is just market. This is just people who probably bought before the jump are just selling. Wonder why it jumped though. Oh, poor. This is wrong. Perplexity. I marked this as wrong. Anyways. Wrong stock. Bro, this penny stock. Or is this a crypto coin? Okay. Speaking of other big tech companies, we got Zuck here. Zuck's struggling with his AI rollout. And I think actually a problem with Meta is because a lot of what, they're an advertising company, and realistically, like, they don't have like the only product. They have the distribution, but they don't have their distribution, their platforms are not useful for AI, really. Like social media, it's like entertainment-esque, like communicating. Like it's built on human interaction, so it's like, it's hard to then fit your AI into there. We've seen them botch their like AI influencers, which are just kind of cringe. They have the Meta AI app, which I think they turned these their Ray-Ban glasses app into that Meta AI app to create a separate app. Oh, and then I think that you're allowed to like the stuff you make, you could like post on the app or something. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. So like they're in an interesting spot where it's like they have the distribution, but they don't have the like use cases for it within their where they're able to distribute. Now, the benefit is they're using it behind the scenes, like more so. They're using it to help their advertisers because that's, they're an advertising company. That's how they make all their money. So they're using it behind the scenes to make, increase margins, make their advertisers more happy, whatever, to make more money actually behind the scenes. So I think that's kind of just a different play. But I do think that Zuck wants to be more forward thinking with AI and actually, like making products and pushing it out onto all of their, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, much more than it is now, just as a way to compete. And there's also been talks, OpenAI did say that they're thinking about making some sort of like Twitter/X clone where you could like share stuff you've created or something. I don't know how real or that was, but that would not bode well for Zuck. But yeah, and also Zuck is really the only American company, large big tech company, that's taken an open approach to AI, their llama models. And that seems to maybe be like the hard part here, hence them making changes by taking a large stake in a closed AI company, Scale AI. Also more enterprise focused, which is interesting. And now he's personally recruiting a team. Also the talent, like research, R&D talent for AI, I think it's very competitive.
Mark Zuckerberg reportedly making a new push to try and achieve artificial general intelligence. Bloomberg says that the Meta CEO has been frustrated with his company's progress in the AI race so far and is putting together what's being called a super intelligence group inside Meta. The report says that Zuckerberg's goal is to beat other tech companies to reaching the point where AI can perform as well as humans do so that it can incorporate the technology into its range of products. According to reports over the last few days, Meta is in talks to invest billions of dollars in an AI startup, Scale AI. Bloomberg says that Zuckerberg is personally working to recruit dozens of people for Meta's new effort, driven by frustration over the response to the latest version of the company's Llama large language model.
The way she talks about it. Yeah, and Llama Behemoth, they're the like largest version of Llama 4 model. There's Scout, Maverick, and Behemoth. It's been delayed, and it's not out yet as far as I'm aware, which is not good. And also Zuck hasn't done, they're not taking the reasoning approach. Like their models aren't a reasoning model. And now that Mistral actually released it, which we'll look at after this, that's kind of interesting. That Mistral has a thinking model, a reasoning model, in really the only big tech company now left is Meta that doesn't.
It's very similar to what we've heard from Sergey Brin, getting kind of reinvigorated by this a couple of years ago, actually, and building up and spending a lot, running that team himself. AI is definitely the thing that has all these original coders super excited, super competitive about, and Zuckerberg's apparently moving desks in the office so that all of these people can sit right by him.
Well, hurry up. It'll be interesting to see. It seems quantum. Like you made that quantum leap, and now we're really moving quickly. We'll see.
Bro, what the fuck is this video? There's like, they literally said nothing. Okay, let's read the New York Times article because it seems like they were the first to break it. Meta is creating a new AI lab to pursue super intelligence. The new lab is set to include Scale AI founder Alex Wang, part of a reorganization of Meta's artificial intelligence efforts under Zuckerberg. Meta is preparing to unveil a new artificial intelligence research lab dedicated to pursuing super intelligence. It's also like everyone keeps changing. Like, okay, we're pursuing AGI. It's like, okay, now we're pursuing super intelligence. It's like everyone just wants to like pursue the next big AI thing. A hypothetical AI system that exceeds the power of the human brain as the tech giant jockeys to stay competitive in the technology race, according to 4 people with knowledge of the company's plans. Meta has tapped Alexander Wang, 28, the founder and chief executive of the AI startup Scale AI, to join the new lab, people said, and has been in talks to invest billions of dollars in his company as part of a deal that would also bring other Scale AI employees to the company. Ooh, this is like I'm getting Acquihire vibes. When was this written? This was yesterday. They like details. as part of the deal to bring, Meta has offered 7 to 9 figure compensation packages to dozens of researchers from leading AI companies such as OpenAI and Google, with some agreeing to join, according to the people. Bro, literally, the Meta stock alone would probably be worth it. Let's be real. Like, I would negotiate just like, bro, just give me fucking a shit ton of Meta stock. Like, just give me some RSU or whatever. RSUs. 9 figure. That's $1 million. Imagine just getting $1 million salary as like a researcher. That's crazy. The new lab is part of a larger reorganization of Meta's AI efforts, the people said. The company, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, has recently grappled with internal management struggles over the technology, as well as employee churn and several products released that fell flat, two of the people said. Mark Zuckerberg's Meta chief executive has invested billions of dollars into turning his company into an AI powerhouse. Since OpenAI released the ChatGPT chatbot in 2022, the tech industry has raced to build increasingly powerful AI. Mr. Zuckerberg has pushed the company to incorporate AI across its products, including in smart glasses, recently released app Meta AI. Right, I forgot they are using the Meta Meta AI in the smart glasses, and that is a good platform and use case for it. That's actually one of their big competitive advantages, I think. Like they're that they have over some of the others, and they were first to the market from Google. Google announced, I don't know if you could buy it yet, announced smart glasses at Google I/O, but Meta has had their Ray-Bans smart glasses for like, a few years now. And I think that's a pretty good product. Like people like that. So that is a platform that is actually useful. So I do remember that. They do also have I keep forgetting the VR, like all their, they bought Oculus, Meta Quest stuff, but doesn't really seem like any like AI use cases yet in a VR, XR, whatever you want to call it. Staying in the race is crucial for Meta, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, with technology likely to be future for the industry. For the industry. The giants have pumped money into startups in their own AI labs. Microsoft has invested more than $13 billion in OpenAI, while Amazon has plowed $8 billion into the AI startup Anthropic. The behemoths have also spent billions to hire employees from high-profile startups and licensing their technology. Yeah. I mean, it's like all the acqui-hires, which is essentially what Meta's doing. Last year, Google agreed to pay $3 billion to license technology and hire executives from Character.ai, a startup that builds chatbots for personal conversations. Wow, I didn't know that. They wonder where they use this in, where they license the technology in. Character AI is one of the popular like AI tools. It's just not really it's more like entertainment, I guess. Not really more like productivity focused. Which is kind of what I would call like ChatGPT mainly. And I guess not necessarily. I take that back. you go and I know though. I mean, in February, Zuckerberg, 41. Dang, Zuck's only 41? Okay, wow. Called AI potentially one of the most important innovations in history. He added, "This year is going to set the course for the future." Meta and Scale AI declined to comment. Superintelligence is regarded by leading researchers to be a futuristic goal of AI development. OpenAI, Google, and others have said their immediate aim is to build artificial general intelligence, or AGI, shorthand for machine that can do anything a human brain can do, which is an ambition with no clear path to success. Superintelligence, if can be developed, would go beyond AGI and its power. Yeah. I don't know, people like use it interchangeably. Depends on who you talk to and how they define it. Meta has invested in AI for more than a decade. Mr. Zuckerberg created the company's first dedicated AI lab in 2013 after losing out to Google and trying to acquire a seminal startup called DeepMind. And this is probably one of the Google's best acquisitions. DeepMind is now the core of Google's AI efforts. Yeah, they're powering all of Google's stuff, AI stuff. Since then, Meta research efforts have been overseen by its chief AI scientist, Yan-Li Kun, who is also a New York University professor. Dr. Li Kun is a pioneer of neural networks, the technology that drives ChatGPT and similar systems. After ChatGPT caused an explosion of interest in AI, Meta deployed additional resources to pursue the technology. It created a generative AI group led by Ahmed Al-Dali, a company vice president. Dr. Li Kun's research group also began working on what he saw as the next generation of AI. That's why it's so strange, because like Meta is just like, they've tried several times, it seems like. Or I guess like, what are they doing then that like is not, that Zuckerberg doesn't like, or they're not he's not happy with? Dr. Li Kun, who was among the 3 AI scientists or AI researchers who won the 2018 Turing Award, often called the Nobel Prize of Computing, is highly respected across the field, but his views on AI differ from others in Silicon Valley. Oh yeah, okay, is it this guy? Oh no, okay, this is Li Kun. Yeah, Jeffrey Hinton, I know who this dude is. I've watched a few interviews with him. But I thought he was called like the godfather of AI or something. Maybe they didn't say he is. But I imagine that these guys have a much more safe, they have a bit more conservative view on like safety, I imagine, which is, you know, that's fair. Whereas some believe that the current technologies will reach AGI over the next few years, Dr. Li Kun has said entirely new ideas are needed to reach this lofty goal. I think that, yeah, I think this is also a pretty high likely chance that we do need actual like new algorithmic development and research and development in algorithms to help get to the point where we actually have AGI. I think I do like partly believe that. I think it's more so in AI being able to generalize like humans do, like, you know, take facts not specifically about the thing, but then deduce or deduct or at least have a good idea of how things could work based off of just like other information that's not directly connected to the thing, which, you know, that's like kind of the human superpower in a way, like at least the human brain, us being able to generalize. And AI just is very bad at generalizing right now, I think, unless directly prompted to do so. So I think that we have to get over that hump too, because we have, you know, even if just not even the entire internet, if you just have Wikipedia alone, you know, you should be like pretty smart about things, and just being able to generalize on that data would be great. But it's like, no, we have the entire internet's worth of data inside this computer, you know, the AI's quote unquote brain, and it still, you know, makes shit up and things, you know. So it's like we need, yeah, I feel like we need like some sort of algorithm, R&D development. One of Meta's strategies for gaining ground in AI has been to open source its software, essentially giving away its AI code freely so that developers and others adopt its tools. The company released an open source AI model, Llama, in its chatbot product, Meta AI. Meta AI incorporated across Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, as well as in its Ray-Ban smart glasses. In May, Mr. Zuckerberg said that more than 1 billion people use Meta AI every month. And this is kind of like similar to like Google being like, oh, we have however many people watching, or we have however many people using like our AI products, like the search summary. But it's like, you know, just it's kind of just because they're putting it in front of all these people, like in a existing workflow they already have, i.e. searching. And I think Meta is probably doing something similar, where it's like, oh, it's like people are reading our, you know, Meta AI summaries for, you know, long posts or something. And so that's how we get 1 billion people. It could be like that. We probably even covered this on stream. Oh wow, this is news. We might cover this tomorrow actually. Bookmark it. Yeah. That's crazy. 1 billion users. And I guess like that's kind of again like the power that these big tech companies have that OpenAI doesn't. More recently, Meta's AI division has lost employees to rival companies, according to 2 people familiar with the matter. The departure were the result of a grueling pace of product development, infighting among team leaders, and a tight labor market. In April, Mr. Zuckerberg announced 2 new versions of Meta AI's Llama AI models, which he claimed performed as well as or better than comparable models from OpenAI and Google, according to testing benchmarks compiled by Meta. Soon after, outside researchers found that Meta's benchmarks were designed to make one product look more sophisticated than it was. Bro, and that's why I literally never trust benchmarks. I don't know. What's up, Vibe Code? They're designed to make look more sophisticated than it was. Some developers were incensed at what they saw as Meta's trickery. But not as incensed as Mr. Zuckerberg, who was upset that people thought he was trying to paper over the poor performance of the latest release, 2 people said. It's like they released benchmarks that potentially weren't truthful. People were like, uh-oh, that's not good. Maybe that's not as good as they thought. And then Zuckerberg's like mad that they thought that they weren't being truthful and that the model was actually not that good. It's like, what would people think? What else would people think, you know? What's up, Cyborn? We're just talking about Meta's AI struggles, and Zuckerberg, old Zuck, and them potentially investing in Scale AI. It's almost like giving up a bit on Llama. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not, but we're actually down here. Zuckerberg, Meta's now betting that Mr. Wang, this is of Scale AI, the Scale AI CEO, will help get back into pole position in the AI race. Oh yeah. I cover AI stuff mainly on this channel, like just the industry. I must do so carefully. The Federal Trade Commission recently took Meta to trial in federal court over its acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. Yeah, and this trial is actually going to be it's concluded and the judge is deciding, which I will cover. I covered it pretty in depth when it first came out. As usual, structured investment deal with Scale AI could help Meta sidestep some of those concerns. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know how this would be even related to that Meta antitrust case, but I could be wrong. Swapping YouTube, what's up? Mr. Wang founded Scale AI in 2016 alongside Lucy Guo, an engineer who was later fired by the company. Huh. Cool, thanks, man. Scale AI helped other businesses build AI technologies. It hired armies of contract workers to sift through vast amounts of data, labeling and cleaning the infrastructure so it could be used to train complex AI systems. Scale AI's customers include OpenAI, Microsoft, and Cohere, an AI startup in Toronto. Most recently, Scale AI has worked to build its enterprise and public sector businesses. Yeah, and this is where I feel like Scale AI really shines. And also, Meta does have a good relationship. I mean, like, actually, I wouldn't say good, but they do have a relationship with the government because of how much data they collect. You know, the CIA was an early investor in Facebook. So, I mean, it could be a good relationship and just in that sense. Mr. Wang once lived in the same house as OpenAI's chief executive Sam Altman. Wow, I didn't know that. In January, the two were photographed side by side at the Capitol for the inauguration of President Trump. The next day, Scale AI placed an ad in the Washington Post in which Mr. Wang called on Mr. Trump to increase investment in AI or risk falling behind China. Dear President Trump, the ad said, America must win the AI war. Yeah. Yeah, times are rough for Zuck here when competing in the AI space. Yeah, in the UK and AI. Yeah. We'll cover that story actually. I had that here. We'll take a look after. We're gonna cover Mistral's AI models next, and then we'll jump into that story actually. TikTok, nice. Yeah, and there's a Scale AI. This is just continuing, not much here. I do want to say, I want to talk about okay, here we go. Yeah, Meta's also advanced talks to invest more than $10 billion in Scale AI. And I think they're going to take a stake. And I don't know where I saw that at. It was like the information, some other source that was paywalled. Yeah. Interesting moves for Zuck. I think he's kind of desperate, and he's like definitely feeling the pressure from his other tech company rivals like Google, OpenAI. In the AI space, he really needs to get his shit together, I guess. Okay, and then speaking of AI, we got Mistral. Yeah, he has real competition now. Mistral released, Mistral, the bigger European AI company, pure play AI company. They've kind of been like always behind, the Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini / Google, but they are open. Their models are open, so like I definitely like that. I was an early user of LeChat. I liked it as an alternative to OpenAI and Claude. But then like OpenAI and Claude just started shipping things much quicker, and LeChat fell behind. They do now have like some sort of agentic capabilities and stuff, so that's cool. But now they have a reasoning model, which Meta doesn't have that yet. But they're taking a different strategy, it seems like. But yeah, and they're calling it Magistral, which I do like the naming of Mistral's models. Europe has naming way better than the United States, than America, especially American AI companies, bro. Like 0340 404 mini high. Like what? Yup, we do. Yeah. So we took a look at it was like a few months ago, the European Union's like AI compute plan or something. There was a name for it. I can't remember, but all the supercomputers and all the data centers that were contributing to or like getting funding all had such cool names, and I was like, bro, what the hell? Like, America's missing out. Naming is trash. Yeah, Mistral debuts its first reasoning model, and I love this. The French robot, because Mistral's French company. French AI startup Mistral is launching its first reasoning models, aiming to rival new offerings from OpenAI, DeepSeek, and others. Reasoning models aim to boost accuracy by using more compute power at inference time, a trend gaining steam amid diminishing returns from building even larger language models. Mistral is releasing 2 versions of its Magistral family of reasoning. Oh, interesting. Magistral Small, which is 24 billion parameter, and Magistral Medium is proprietary. Okay. Let's actually look at Open Router. See if it's on here yet. Ah, yeah, right here. Ooh, it's actually a little bit pricier than I thought. $2 per million input, $5 per million output. Oh, this is medium though. That's not that bad. Their small one is okay. That's like okay, I guess. I mean, it's doesn't compare to like DeepSeek pricing, but I guess maybe it's not as good. Mistral says the new models are designed for a range of real-world tasks, including areas like law, finance, healthcare, engineering. Proprietary version, Mistral says, is capable of 1,000 tokens per second, outpacing performance of rivals. It's fast. Unlike many models that reason primarily in English, Mistral can think in the query's native language, a potential more efficient approach. Oh, the query's native language. We covered this this big AI 2027 report that was a in-depth prediction of like how AI, like AGI might play out, and they predicted that, or they kind of talked about how it would be more efficient if the AI could think in like computer, think in like something that is faster than just like typing, words out on a screen. And they called it neural ease, some sort of like neural net type of way that they could think much quicker than like a tokens per second type of approach. And it kind of seems like we're almost getting there. Like it could think in some sort of like query's native language. Like that's interesting. It also means though you probably you don't know what they are like thinking about, like how Claude and OpenAI kind of give you. They like share what the model like thought, or like what its reasoning was, or what it thought about. So interesting. And that could be dangerous if we are, talking AI safety. It could think something bad and then execute on it, and maybe if we could have read that, then we could have stopped it. I don't know. Based in France, Mistral has benefited from both its embrace of open source as well as the fact that it offers an alternative to the large American and Chinese tech companies. Yeah, totally. I mean, just for Europe alone, because Europe, again, we on stream we've covered quite a bit about how Europe wants to get off of American big tech specifically, but really there's just not many European alternatives that could step in and take on the business that the American tech companies have in Europe. So I mean, Mistral's a good start for AI to not be reliant on, or Europe not be dependent on America or China in terms of for AI infrastructure, or at least just a foundational model. So I mean, that's something though. So I think Mistral is still important for like the European Union, or at least the continent. There isn't, but we're trying to become independent. Yeah, totally. I covered on stream here their EU's plan. They announced to kind of invest domestically and stuff like that. I know you're in the UK, you said, Cyborn, right? Are you guys still like left out of this stuff now that you're separate? Yeah, UK. You guys have like your own domestic plans or anything? Just 15 months after launching its first paid products, like to get off of American big tech or anything? It's a mix. Okay. What's up, Ketchup Banana? WWC was all right. No, nothing big really. Liquid Glass, their new redesign was big. I don't really like it. I have the beta installed. What else? There's some like small stuff for like iPad that was cool. Their like shortcuts stuff was cool. There's a lot of like actual developer stuff. There was some like cool stuff there, but it was a snoozer overall, I think. Bit of a down year. You don't like the new either? Yeah. See, it seems like all the from what I on Twitter/X, I like design. I'm like half design algorithm, half like tech bro algorithm. And like design people are like, oh my god, it's the best. And like tech bro, like the techie people are like, this sucks. We let the EU's making laws for our country. We had no say in it, but the way our government is going, they try and get us back in, which would go against the 2016 referendum. Yeah, bro. I don't even like Brexit was kind of a mess, at least just from an outsider's perspective. Not like we have much room to talk. Let's be real. But everyone's having problems right now. Okay, yeah, we got Mistral. Yeah, Mistral, benefited both in embrace of open source as well as the fact it offers an alternative to the large American and Chinese tech companies. Just 15 months after launching its first paid products, Mistral has racked up over $100 million in contracted sales, according to sources familiar with its finances. That's pretty good. Just, I mean, it's nothing like OpenAI scale that we covered earlier, but like 100 million in contracts, like that's, I mean, I'm sure a company would take that any day. You would have voted to leave if I was older enough, but it was a year too young at the time. But our politicians butchered it because they all wanted to stay, so they dragged their feet and got us botched leave. Yeah. What's his name? Nigel Fairborn or some shit? Like that dude wasn't even the leader of it, leading that. Yeah, I don't know, man. That was a mess. Farage, yeah, Nigel Farage. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. I don't even know how to say this name. Anjani Mida, sorry for butchering it, from A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz, notorious Silicon Valley venture capitalist, who led the Series A funding round and sits on its board, said that Mistral's focus on open source is its key selling point, even more than its unique geography. Wow. Didn't realize that. Mina noted that while being big shifts in technology tend to be initially led by proprietary efforts, businesses quickly gravitate towards the advantages of open source. In some cases, yeah, but like, not all the time. They want cheaper, faster, and more control. Mina told Axios, "It's happening now with AI. It just takes a little bit of time." Dang. First made the promise that couldn't be backed up, but Nigel just wanted us out with our independence back since the EU is butchering our fishing waters. Yeah. I don't know. I guess from an outsider, it seems like there's much bigger implications and long-term implications than like then like maybe what was advertised with Brexit. I don't know. I honestly after fucking David Cameron left, I prefer to stop following UK politics. It's honestly too much. I was like, I can't even keep up with American. They worked mainly. They were taking laws we had no say in, and we couldn't trade with any other market. Yeah, that's rough. But I guess like now it's like your trade is still kind of fucked, I guess. All right, this is the actual research paper. Yeah, I know nothing about. I just know names of for UK politics. All right, we got Magistral. This is the name of it. Let's just watch. It seems like coding capabilities. Write a Python program. What does it say? I don't know. Is coding capabilities really the first thing they're gonna advertise? Like, do they really compete with? I guess they're not comparing themselves to like Claude or OpenAI or anything, because realistically, I guess the open source models are just not going to be up to par of that. I didn't even think about that. I guess they're really, it's like Looks like they're comparing to Mistral Medium, DeepSeek, V3, DeepSeek R1. No Quen in there, no Llama in there. I guess maybe it's not. They're not reasoning models. That makes sense. Yeah, they kind of did catch up a banana, to be honest. Like, but they're still hanging in there. Yeah. I guess they're still hanging in there. All right, let's see this here. Oh, this is a classic, like, hexagon with balls bouncing inside physics, like physics program that people have been using as kind of a benchmark for coding. It is super quick, though. That is, like, interesting about, like, it thought for 9 seconds, but it thought so much because it's so quick. Okay, like, I guess it did it. That was a weird demo, honestly. All right, it says, announcing Magistral, the reasoning model by Mistral AI, excelling in domain-specific, transparent, and multilingual reasoning. The best human thinking isn't linear. It weaves through logic, insight, uncertainty, and discovery. Reasoning language models have enabled us to augment and delegate complex thinking and deep understanding to AI, improving our ability to work through problems requiring precise, step-by-step deliberation and analysis. Okay. Yes. But this place is still nascent. Lack of specialized depth needed for domain-specific problems. Limited transparency. Yeah. And the specialized depth is a good point, too. And inconsistent reasoning in the desired language are just some of the known limitations of early thinking models. Today we're excited to announce our latest contribution to AI research with Magistral, our first reasoning model, released in both open and enterprise versions. Magistral is designed to think through in ways familiar to us. Interesting, I wonder if they do something specific. While bringing expertise across professional domains, transparent reasoning that you can follow and verify, along with deep multilingual flexibility. All right. Yeah, exactly. It's like you just tune it. Okay, so Magistral Medium. So I guess it's like on par about with DeepSeek. I don't really like benchmarks. Like, we're definitely just getting saturation. Like, people are nearly scoring 100% now. Got involved in UK politics at a young age, 14. Pushing for a lot in the tech space as a leader, recently attended the cryptocurrency convention in Las Vegas. Oh, nice. Yeah, Bitcoin 2025 was there. Was there like a week or two ago. But cool. That's cool. Yeah. Hopefully. Make things better. Yeah, a lot of pro crypto stuff going on, especially in America here too. We covered Circle IPOing. More of mainstream currency, yeah. Yeah, I cover crypto on here. I mainly cover like stable coins. I kind of talk about more so it like the bridge between like traditional finance and like decentralized finance stuff. But I like stable coins. I'm very we cover stable coins a lot here. That's weird. That's not cool. Nice. Okay. Yeah, they keep saying real world reasoning. What is real? Like, it's like they said something like that before. Yeah, two variants. Mistral small, like 24 billion parameter open source version. Dang, 24 billion? Like, I don't even know if I could run that locally. That's still huge. People are gonna have to like quantize them, like shrink the size. We got Magistral Medium. Oh, this is how it scored. Yeah, 24 is huge. I think 9 billion is the max I could run locally, and I have a 3080, 32 gigabytes of RAM. 3080 has 10 gigabytes of VRAM. It was like, even 9 is stretching. So I'm probably gonna have to get some sort of like shrunken down. That's what she. Yeah. Nice. Same. Yeah, it's yeah, but it's still, even with like what I have now, like it's slow. Like it's very slow. Token per second is not that good. Very small context locally, so that kind of sucks. It says Magistral chain of thought works across global languages. Oh, and alphabets. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Actually, that's interesting. So you could think in your native language. The mid-50 series, massive letdown. I mean, yeah, and also just they're just expensive and hard to get, even in America. Like the only one that seems worth it is a 5090, but that thing's like, I don't even know how much now, so it's yeah, it sucks. Then it says the new think mode and flash answers in LeChat can get responses at 10x the speed. Okay. In the open source Magistral Small, we welcome the community to examine, modify, and build on its architecture and reasoning process to further accelerate in the emerging of thinking language models. This is the first non-Chinese large language model, like thinking, reasoning large language model that's open. I actually think, because it's DeepSeek and Qwen. So that I didn't even realize that. DeepSeek is running 37 billion, so DeepSeek is better than this one. No, I guess it more parameters is like generally I think it probably correlates to being better, but I don't think it's always the case. Like, here are the benchmarks. This is, the blue is DeepSeek, so I mean, it's like, it beats it in this AIM, I don't know what benchmark this is. Beats it in like that, but it's like about even everywhere else, so. I think DeepSeek 2 takes a more unique strategy. Like, they use the mixture of experts, which is also what Llama uses. Where it doesn't actually wake up all the parameters when it's not needed, and it kind of has a router that routes it to the correct like expert, and then it's able to just load up those parameters, so it doesn't have to load up the whole 37 billion. Maybe that could have something to do with it too. Okay, then yeah, the multilingual, 10x faster reasoning. Okay, what model is this though? No, this is definitely 03 or something. That was quick, but I mean, I guess sometimes there's more to it than speed. Let's be honest. It says versatility in application. It's ideal for general purpose use requiring longer thought processing and better accuracy than with non-reasoning LMs. From legal research and financial forecasting to software development and creating creative storytelling, this model solves multi-step challenges where transparency and precision are critical. Okay, that's kind of just marketing talk, if I'm being honest. Nothing, not really any substance in that. Business strategy and operations, designed for research, strategic planning, operational optimization, data-driven decision-making. I mean, it's kind of like, unless they tell me like why it's better at it, like I just assume it's about the same as all other LLMs. Legal, finance, healthcare, and government professionals get traceable reasoning that meets compliance requirements. Okay, this could be big. If that is a requirement for like these industries here, that's okay. System, software, and data engineering. Magistral enhances coding and development use cases compared to non-reasoning models. It significantly improves project planning, back-end architecture, front-end design, and data engineering through sequence multi-step actioning involving external tools or API. Oh, so I wonder, wait, does Mistral support MCP? Like external tool calling is that? excellent at creative companion. We highly recommend it for creative writing and storytelling, with the model capable of producing coherent or, if needed, delightfully eccentric copy. Think so? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right, and then yeah, I wonder how long it's going to take for people to quantize these. It says Magistral can be deployed locally, fitting in a single RTX 4090 or a 32GB RAM MacBook. Once quantized. Shit. This is post quantized and you still need a 4090? Damn. All right, well then we're just gonna have to wait for like other third-party quantizers to get into that. All right, that's Mistral. That's cool. I'm glad to see at least Europe getting a open reasoning model. In seeing Mistral actually continue to release cool shit. So all for that. Okay, let's take this is a Cyborn requested story. I don't know what this source is. Sorry, let me see. I think I bookmarked another source. Oh no, just this one. Whatever, we'll just read this. Yeah, Nvidia says UK needs more AI computing power. Now, before we even talk about this, let's just talk about Nvidia and what Jensen's doing. Also, this picture of Jensen is so old. Like, this is not a good picture of him. Nvidia has been going around to, similar to what OpenAI is doing for OpenAI countries, where they're offering like sovereign AI. They'll go and manage and build the infrastructure. Yeah, old leather jacket too. They'll go around, manage and build the infrastructure, and also tune and make the AI that's ran locally in your country more relevant to your local culture and language. Nvidia's actually been kind of doing something similar, working with countries directly to build supercomputers, or just build these sovereign like AI factories that Jensen kind of has been using. And considering just the UK has a large, they contribute to the world economy. They're a large economy. They have a lot of power. Like in say, like they still are a very relevant country. I would imagine that they should be like on the forefront with the rest of Europe, and potentially even like America. So the fact that Jensen's saying this, one, yeah, you're a big trader, exactly. One, Jensen is definitely incentivized to say this because Nvidia probably wants to sell it to the UK. So, I mean, that's also something to say. But, like, there is legit concern about staying competitive in the AI race here, especially domestically for your own country. Massive shipping hub between states and Europe. Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, you guys contribute. So it's like you would want to be on the lead, in the lead here, or at least, like, on the forefront, the frontier. Says Nvidia's chief executive Jensen Huang. And it's also interesting that it's only Nvidia so far that's really said this. Like, you'd think, and I wonder if like OpenAI or any other large AI companies that also have infrastructure behind it have courted the UK to like pitch like their data center offering or their like AI compute offering. Also, I guess you guys also have Qualcomm. Qualcomm's a European company that doesn't directly compete with Nvidia. They make more mobile processors and stuff, but they also have, you guys have Qualcomm to at least provide other infrastructure that's in Europe. Yeah, I'm a Qualcomm shareholder. I own the stock. I also own Nvidia stock too. But so I mean, you guys have domestic, chip companies that could help provide infrastructure for actual like the countries themselves. Nvidia chief executive Jensen Huang said the UK needs more computing capacity to capitalize on its AI potential, as Prime Minister Keir Starmer pledged a fresh $1 billion investment to expand the country's sovereign AI compute infrastructure. Yep, there it is. That sovereign AI has been a big term, especially around Nvidia lately. You ever heard of any other company do what Nvidia's said? Yeah. No, I mean, Nvidia's really the only one. OpenAI really would be the only other company but NVIDIA is providing the chips likely for OpenAI to even do that. So it's like, it's still NVIDIA. At the opening of London Tech Week on Monday, Wong said that UK... Oh, I actually meant to watch the keynote for this. I might watch it a different time. Sovereign AI is just AI that like a country owns. So it's like like the country, it's like sovereign to the country, so they kind of just control it. Kind of just been like it's kind of been like a buzzword almost in a way. Here's NVIDIA themselves. Sovereign AI refers to a nation's capability to produce artificial intelligence using its own infrastructure, data, workforce, and business networks. Yeah, and they calling them like AI factories. Yeah, but NVIDIA has several. So I know they have one with Taiwan. They have one with Saudi Arabia recently. That he was over there with Humane. Looks like Swiss, France. Looks like government of India has announced sovereign AI initiatives. Japan is going all in on sovereign AI. Singapore. So I mean, there's been a trend that it's all kind of, all these countries are like realizing that they might want this. Solar power it, bro. Just fucking oil power it. I mean, solar power would be ideal, but like they also just have, they have unlimited oil essentially too. Yeah, no, solar power would be ideal just because, it's definitely better for the environment. And it's free. It's literally free. You build the infrastructure, it's free. Free power. Yeah, it says, Wong said on London Tech Week on Monday, Wong said the UK had incredible AI research talent and the world's biggest AI venture capital market after the US and China. Yeah, that's crazy. I actually didn't know that. Pays for itself, exactly. He said the country is missing only one thing. It's surprising that this is the largest AI ecosystem in the world without its own infrastructure. Starmer, speaking alongside Wong at the event, said the extra $1 billion in funding would scale up the country's AI compute power by a factor of 20. Dang. That's crazy because $1 billion, or I mean, euros, pounds, whatever, stones. Just kidding. $1 billion to increase your compute by a factor of 20 seems like a pretty chill investment. Like that's a good, like $1 billion doesn't seem that much, at least in terms of American like government spending. So this seems like a pretty good increase. Adding that the technology would improve public services, and that's also $1 billion here is huge. So yeah. Then that to me seems like that's a big spending for a 20 increase. That's good. We can be an AI maker, not an AI taker, he said. That's good. I've not heard that. NVIDIA is currently looking to form such sovereign AI deals, recently announcing similar but much larger plans with Saudi Arabia. Yep, United Arab Emirates, UAE. I didn't realize that they announced this one. To build AI infrastructure with state-backed funds. And the other ones that we just talked about, too. The leading maker of AI accelerator chips is currently mostly dependent on a handful of major U.S. tech firms for more than half of its data center revenue. And that's also, I'm sure, a big incentive for NVIDIA, especially now that China is kind of the market is shrinking for them, if not just non-existent at all. They need to diversify outside of the United States just for like risk in general. It's just being risky having, a few whales that are a significant portion of your revenue. All down south though, since North probably never see a penny. Oh. Why is like northern UK like not get as much I don't know, support? Several other AI infrastructure announcements marked the beginning of London Tech Week, including plans by AI cloud providers Nscale and Nebius to build new facilities in the UK powered by thousands of NVIDIA GPUs that are intended to come on later this year. Okay, that's big. Thousands is good though, because the fact that they're even getting NVIDIA GPUs is good. NVIDIA said it would launch an AI technology center in Bristol to train developers in the technology and would establish the UK Sovereign AI Industry Forum with companies including Bay Systems, BT, and Standard Chartered to help accelerate AI adoption. I've not heard of these companies. Bay Systems, I think. British financial company. What's BT? British Telecom? Yeah, okay. That's what I thought these guys were a defense company. North gets the least funding and has the most poverty due to lack of funding and jobs. Damn. The company's also working with the Financial Conduct Authority and fintech startup Naya One to create a secure government environment for testing AI for financial services. BT's British Telecom with their slow speeds and everything. Oh. Hey, then that's good. Maybe that they could use fucking NVIDIA's technology. NVIDIA has a lot of telecom technology to speed shit up. If they aren't using them already. The program is to go online October as part of broader government plans to promote AI and cut red tape around the technology. Yeah, and there's also the red tape is a big thing in Europe. You know, Europe does have a lot more regulation than the United States, whether that be good or bad. But it's definitely bad for innovation in speed and technology moving quickly. And so that's definitely a big disadvantage Europe has. Even though in the United States, it's like, personally, it seems like we do have a lot of regulation. It is very eye-opening understanding that we have so much less than places like Europe in general, like insane. Used to be with my ISP, we'd barely hit 10 megabytes, bro. That's crazy. I'm getting a gig down, like 500 up right now. Yeah, European red tape. Yeah, that's definitely a known thing. I think some of it is good though. Like a lot of the like Digital Markets Act, I think is good. I mean, I like the. I'm sure there's mixed feelings on the GDPR, but like I think we don't even have a federal Data Privacy Act in the United States. I'm in California, and we have the California Consumer Privacy Act, which is only applicable to our state, but it's a light version of something like the GDPR. So I mean, like, I don't know, there's pluses and minuses. Gig down, 450 up. That's pretty, yeah, it's good. Oh, okay, just BT in general. Yeah, GDPR, I wish we had a federal, some sort of national government or data privacy act, but whatever. It's all open finance services firms to help with the early stages of AI adoption, offering access to technical expertise, data sets, and regular support. The beginning of this year, Starmer said he wanted to make the UK an AI superpower. All right. So I guess, yeah, this is a good starting, good, like, that the UK is now taking it seriously, I guess. I'm curious if they are going to work with any specific AI, European AI companies like Mistral. So, like, I'm always curious, like, who, like, what models are actually powering the stuff that they say they're gonna, like, use AI for. Like, I am curious, like, who, like, what they use. Timer says a lot of subs never backs it. Sounds like, sounds like Trump. There it is. All right, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's stream. Yeah, ChatGPT, a lot of there's been a lot of AI services that were down today, just technology services that were down. Like ChatGPT was down, Perplexity was slow, Heroku, which is like a big cloud hoster, was down. There's been a lot of, I don't know why, like if it was all linked. I think there's something on Hacker News. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. But yeah, all right, that's gonna do it for today's stream. Just a chill day, chill news day. It's kind of, I mean, coming off the backs of WWDC is like a little bit nothing crazy. that he would cut taxes, but taxes have done nothing but go up, and I mean up by a lot. Oh, that's definitely not the case here. Although we've got our own problems. Yeah. Chill day today. Tomorrow we'll be back. Is there any events this week? We have the Don't tea in the harbor. It's funny. I don't think there's any. Yeah, WWDC is technically going on. London Tech Week, although I haven't seen any news about that. The Augmented World Expo. Oh yeah, I might find some. I might search for this and find some new VR tech or anything that's been released. Oh, Oracle has earnings tomorrow. That's actually, we might look at Oracle earnings tomorrow if it's pre-market, because Oracle's working with aftermarket close. All right. Then we might look at it Thursday. Oracle is partnering with OpenAI on Project Stargate, and so there could be an announcement in their earnings about that. Likely they will talk about the Texas or the data center in Texas for OpenAI they're building. So I'm curious to hear about that. Oh, Black Hats this year, nice. I like watching. Or wait, is Black Hat like DEF CON? I watch a lot of talks and stuff. I like watching from the aftermath of those. A lot of interesting people talking. Kinda. Okay. Is Black Hat in the Europe? Is Oracle up year to date? They are. Okay, interesting. Interesting. All right. Just leave any tech you like behind your hotel with yeah, right. Don't even risk it. Gonna get in. Okay, cool. I appreciate Cyborg, Cut a Banana, friend Will, Thanzol. Appreciate everyone showing up and hanging out today. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific. Feel free. I always take story recommendations. I'm happy to cover any tech stories, especially emerging technologies. I like data privacy, robotics, semiconductors, Europe tech, EU tech. My EU tech streams are actually some of my better performing streams. A lot of people really enjoy hearing an American's perspective on EU tech. So, but cool. All right. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Bye.